Hello and welcome to CNBC-TV18 Conversations. Joining us today is a very special guest. Ahmed bin Sulayem is Chief Executive Officer at Dubai Multi-Commodities Center and he wears various hats. Ahmed, thank you so much for joining us here at CNBC-TV18. You're in India for a road show. I mean, DMCC, when you look at that, in the last 1 decade has grown by leaps and bounds in sense of companies that are joining in, the kind of initiatives that you have taken and the kind of milestones that you have achieved.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. This is a long-term project of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President, Prime Minister of United Arab Emirates, ruler of Dubai. It was conceptualized in 2001 and unveiled in April 2002. And we've planted seeds, launched some projects along the way, moved into the tallest diamond tower in the world, the Almas Tower, which is home to pretty much all of the big players in the diamond industry, whether it be finance, legal, trade, banking, the diamond exchange itself, all the services located in one building. So if you could imagine the Antwerp Diamond District only vertically in one building. And then fast forward to almost 13 years since moving into the Diamond Tower, we've delivered another super tall tower, an Uptown Tower, which attracted the Gemological Institute of America. It took about 8,000 square meters, 7,000 to 8,000 square meters, 4 floors of office space for their academy, for their lab, for their headquarters, the largest headquarter outside the U.S., serving all of the polished diamonds that would, and colored stones, I would assume, coming from Africa, and India being the largest producing, polished diamond producing country in the world as well.
You are in India, and I do understand that a lot of Indian businesses have registered themselves in DMCC. So, and I also understand that 90% of companies that are registered with DMCC are out of UAE. So what countries are your partners and what kind of trade relations do you see from India? Well,
90% are new to the United Arab Emirates, so they've come through DMCC, and we've retained about the same percentage since registering companies in 2000. We started registration in 2003. We have around 3,700 companies from India. I just came from a business trip from the UK, and we always look at these numbers, and we were a bit surprised. We weren't focusing on things in that way, but we noticed that we have over 2,000 UK businesses. In the UAE alone, there are 5,000 UK businesses. 40% of that are in DMCC. So, you know, there's something special about the services we provide, the speed of service, the quality. And I think it's the fact that they can plug and play with the international markets. If you ask me, even though the number is higher than the UK businesses, I feel we can do a lot more.
So what are the plans with India in pipeline? I mean, you're meeting a lot of businesses here even now. I do understand that whether it's about inflationary pressures or the global headwinds, Dubai actually, or DMCC for that matter, has been able to stand tall amidst all of this.
Well, you know, the relationship that DMCC and myself have with the Indian business community is a bit different. I've worked with businesses where they've recently got married, and now I'm dealing with their kids running their offices or running a separate business. So it's a bit different when they engage with people like us. A few months ago, we were in, I think towards the end of last year, I can't recall exactly. We had a 3-city roadshow, but we only did Chennai and Kerala because the monsoon was a bit too hard on Mumbai, which brings us back to this roadshow. We started off with Jaipur. I loved the experience there. And I went to Surat for my second time. My first time was actually flying from Florida via Dubai, I'm not sure if it was Delhi or Mumbai, to Surat, a whole day of meetings. And then I took the first international flight of Surat on India Express to Sharjah. I am pushing Fly Dubai, and I'll push harder even to have a direct flight to Surat because I see the business case for it. But the second time we had a bit of more time. We engaged with the members, and believe it or not, there are some senior people that have never been to Dubai. They've just heard of it. So there's a lot of work to be done there. And just arrived today, driving about 4.5 hours or 5 hours from Surat to here. But it's worth it in the end of the day.
So how do you look at India, the way it is growing? You travel a lot. How much do you travel?
I stopped looking at that.
All right, so coming back to India then, you visited various cities, and over the years, what would you say about India's growth?
India really embraced Western technology and exceeded it. You know, the head of Visa, I believe, or MasterCard, I can't recall, I think Visa is from India. The head of Google is from India. There's a lot of stories like that. But it's not just a call center of the world. There's a lot that's done here. When I was in Surat, I did not only see natural diamonds being cut, I've seen lab-grown facilities. They're making diamonds. Diamonds are coming out of India again, in that sense. So there's a lot of advancements. I did visit the Surat Diamond Exchange, a humongous facility, and I believe it will contribute a lot to the diamond industry. I love the fact that we're a short flight away. The movie industry is growing phenomenally fast. It's just being in Dubai is not enough and think that you've seen everything you have to. India is a whole continent. India is a whole world. Its domestic market is as big as many international markets for other countries. So it's not something we underestimate. If you look at the Gold and Commodities Exchange, it worked. It happened because of our former partnership with FTIL MCX. Today it's a Cinnober-powered exchange. We fully own it. It's now bought by NASDAQ, so it's a NASDAQ-powered exchange. But if you look at the products, they're focused on gold, silver, and we listed the first Indian rupee future contract, which got replicated again in India and other places. So there's a lot more than the standard things you would expect. And I'm here more to listen rather than just preaching about what we have, because that's what made Dubai pretty strong. I mean, at least DMCC in that case.
Absolutely. You talked about various commodities, and I want to take them one by one.
Sure.
I'll start with diamond first. And we do understand that when it comes to a place that is a big trading hub and a place that gives you immense global exposure and opportunities is something that you have created. What are the numbers that we're doing right now? What's your vision, especially when it goes to diamond?
I wish I have these numbers by heart. I do know that beginning of last year, we announced that Dubai is the leading and largest rough diamond center in the world. And we knew it wasn't a one-off. The systems are all connected. Every Kimberley process office is looking at the same numbers everywhere. It's a transparent business. Nowhere in the world you have a commodity that's checked in the same way as rough and polished diamonds are. And this year again, we've exceeded that, but we've seen bigger jumps in polished diamonds. Engaging with diamond tiers in New York, some of the big players like Paul Rapps, for example. He used to come to Dubai once, maybe twice a year to sell a big stone. Today, his partner goes every 2 weeks. He's in Dubai, and he does a transaction. Now, maybe that's not just buyers from Dubai. It could be from the GCC, it could be from China, it could be from the Far East Asia, even from the US. So things changed around the COVID pandemic. We had the best record for DMCC and businesses captured in 2020. We captured over 2,200 businesses. 2021, 2,485. Last year, 3,049 companies. And around 705 companies in the first 3 months. I can tell you right now, we're over 1,000 companies since the beginning of this year. So the momentum is going strong.
You do remember a lot of numbers, by the way.
Just this.
All right. City of Gold is what Dubai is known as, and you have done immense work in gold. And I was listening to one of your interviews earlier where you've said that your focus is going to be gold going forward. A lot of focus. You have a lot of focuses anyways. But gold, what is the plan here? We've seen an all-time highs come in for gold as well for this year. The trade seems to be picking up, and so does the sales and buying.
Well, I engage with the pro-gold community. I also engage with the anti-gold community, some of them in the crypto and other businesses. But I listen to all of them. But you cannot ignore that the central banks around the world are increasing their gold storage, you know, from Kyrgyzstan, Russia, India, other parts of the world. The US is still sitting on the largest holding of gold. So there's something brewing there. But at the same time, does it reflect to the small player or not? Can they make something out of it? Is it for just the big banks? Which is why we have the UAE gold bullion coins. The first two coins were launched around the time of the rebranding of Burj Khalifa. So the first coin had the president's image in the front, and in the back, the world's tallest tower. Today, we have two new coins that will be coming up in the market. One with the president, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, and on the other side is the Louvre Abu Dhabi, and then Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, another coin, with the Museum of the Future on the other side. So this is for the small players. It's easier to distribute and it's easier to sell as well. So we're excited about it, and we want to make sure that we provide the customized tools and finances for that market. But at the same time, there's a lot happening on the crypto side, the gaming side. Our eyes are open also on the water industry, whether it's on the sustainability side or financial tools and securitization.
We will delve deeper into all of that, but after this very short break. Don't go anywhere. We have this conversation going on with Ahmed bin Sulayem.
I am slow. I'm a tortoise. But your wealth managers, they shouldn't be as slow. You know?
Choose Nuvama. We move at the right pace because we only do what's right for you and your money. Nuvama. Let's do it right.
वोल्टास का नया प्योर एयर एडजस्टेबल एसी विद हेपा फिल्टर लाए साफ ठंडी हवा सीधे आपके घर, वो भी 6 एडजस्टेबल टनेज मोड्स में।
तो हवा और सेविंग्स दोनों टन-टनाटन।
यार अजय, look at your dad. Will we be the same at his age?
Absolutely yes, if we plan our future like him.
How?
My father had invested in LIC's Jeevan Akshay, which gives immediate and guaranteed annuity at regular intervals, that too for life.
Wow. But do we have to wait until his age?
Absolutely not. We recently invested in LIC's new Jeevan Shanti, which gives deferred annuity, which means regular income after some years.
I see.
LIC.
LIC's annuity plans give 10 annuity options and flexibility in receiving regular income. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
The fairest sex they call us. But the rules of the game, are they fair? You know we do have our skin in the game because we put everything at stake and believe in having and even eating our cake. Bold, aspirational, loud. Don't give us those labels. We're all unique, all valid and all worthy. Dreamers, doers and ceiling smashers. Standards and boundaries, we draw them. Stereotypes and self-doubt, we banish them. Equal pay for equal value. Let's create our destiny afresh.
HSBC presents CNBC-TV18 Future Female Forward, the Women's Collective.
Presented by HSBC. Knowledge Partner, Deloitte. Industry Partner, FICCI. Associate Partner, Reliance Industries Limited.
Welcome back, and you've tuned into CNBC-TV18 Conversations, and we have Ahmed bin Sulayem with here. You talked about a DMCC being tech-savvy, whether it's about blockchain, e-commerce is yet another thing that seems to be picking up. Gaming is something that's coming up in a big way. I want to take them one by one. Blockchain first, and we do understand that there are various companies that have registered with DMCC in that sector too.
Well, the biggest name, I think, in DMCC would be Binance Technologies, MENA DMCC, which provides technology services for the market. I do hope they roll out the Binance Academy with us at some point. We have EVI that does rating for blockchain and crypto companies, 100% based on machine learning and AI. And at a later stage, they would roll it out for the financial institutions outside. And what they do is the founder, Matthew Dixon, has seen multiple crashes. I apologize for him for showing how old he is, but he's seen the crashes in the 80s, 90s, .com crashes, and made his money afterwards. Especially in 2008, he knew the AAA companies in the West were not AAA, and he hedged against that, or if you will. But what he wants to do is provide a service that's not exactly the same as S&P and Moody's. So if I wouldn't charge you to give you a rating, but they would charge you for the market research. And they did tweet, and they did predict a few of the crashes and a few of the upward curves. So there are some exciting products in that sense. There's another one, I can't recall the name, but it does NFTs for antiques. Other services are crypto music, crypto graphics. Baby Shark is looking to launch a metaverse, and at a certain point, their own coin. So I'm open to these things. I'm also in talks with Gala Games. Whether they'll pick DMCC or not is another matter, but Jason Brinks will come for a visit in the next few weeks or months, hopefully after the summer. And that's mainly payments between gaming companies and all that, and game users. You'd see Gala Games a lot on Twitter, giving updates and all that.
Yes.
It's a whole other world, but we have to connect with the market, and this is Generation Z and Generation Alpha.
Oh, yes. All the blockchain companies that I have been speaking to tell me that gaming is the thing that seems to be picking up across sectors there. I know you are yourself a gaming addict. You've said that yourself. So what is the latest in gaming? Tell us.
Well, I like the concept of VR. It's still going to be 4 to 8 years for that perfect VR game to come up, but I enjoy it. There are things that I use for de-stressing, breathing practice, but then there are other parts where I need a bit of more space when I play it. But one of the companies in DMCC called Mintrout, for example, they had an investor, Razer. Now Mintrout is focused mostly on the phones, and Razer now has covered the PC gaming, covered the laptop gaming, I guess. I'm not sure if they've touched the consoles or not, but they wanted to go into the mobile apps, and that's the fastest way for them. So I'm happy for them. I'm also in talks with Galaxy and La Liga, looking at esports. And the main trigger for gaming was I had a friend who was going to set up a big brand in DMCC. He did set it up in our Google Tech Hub, Astrolabs. It's a strategic partnership with Mohammed Maki and Luis Lebo, and Ubisoft has a presence there as well. Okay. But it started with that, and when he picked another place, I asked Gareth Evans, why'd you go there? You're living in JLT. You could have walked to the free zone. And this was before the COVID pandemic, by a month or so. And he said, well, I went to your website. It said nothing about gaming. So I responded, well, I'll change that. But, the COVID pandemic distracted us a little bit, but we're back at it. And it ties up with the crypto, it ties up with the businesses, and even movies. I believe the future of movies will be more interactive with people, where you make choices and you see a different reaction. Netflix is doing that. Yes. Netflix is going into the gaming side as well. I believe Google Play is into it as well. Apple Games, or Apple Arcade, if you will. It's fun. And, what attracts me is businesses that trigger ideas, that, you engage with new ideas. It's fun.
Yeah, unless there's innovation, I think it starts getting boring there. So my next question is really about AI and ChatGPT and the various new innovations that we have seen, and that question still stays. But since you talked about movies, anything that you would have watched more than once? Do you watch Bollywood movies at all?
White Tiger. That was raw. It's kind of like a Quentin Tarantino type of thing. I was hesitant to watch Slumdog Millionaire until my friend Peter Mayes, a Belgian, said, you have to watch it. Okay. It is not what you expect. And there was something called Hotel something, I forget. It's this concierge or some hotel manager. I don't know if he's making up the whole story or not, but it's a crazy story. I forget the name. There are some jewels of movies, and I understand there's a good percentage of the Hollywood movies that they just copied the movies from here, and that happens with the music industry, from what I know. Look, a lot of us are influenced by Hollywood movies. I grew up watching Amitabh Bachchan as a kid.
All right, back to my question then. And talking about innovations and artificial intelligence, the way it seems to be taking up, ChatGPT was a point of conversation for many months now, until everybody else started piling onto it. How you as DMCC have approached it?
I know that the marketing and PR are dabbling with it. Up right before AI became more mainstream, or getting to mainstream, I know we use Google Analytics and other analytics. We like to, it's not a deciding factor, but it's a nice indicator. But for me personally, what do I like about AI? Well, the fact that legal fees will be cut down. Going through many documents and checks, you can cut through many of that. Summarizing a big write-up, it could help with that. architectural designs, etc., you'll save so many hours, so much time. I wouldn't give everything to one AI. I picked up on the one of the creators of the AI in Google that supposedly left because he's worried about it. If you look at the Elon Musk story buying Twitter, right before the purchase, he wanted to know how many bots are there, and that upset the previous management. But everything's out in the open, so be wary when you engage with people. And there's big pluses and there's some scary side to it. So handle with caution. That's my advice. We will make the most out of it. I know the diamond industry will make the most out of it. It's great also for places in Africa that can't recruit skilled people, so they can utilize it. I love it from that point of view.
Talk to us also about water then, and climate change, energy transition, whether the way it is erratic, and of course water seem to be the next buzzwords now.
Well, I'm very cautious of putting too much on my team and trying to do so many things at once. I'd rather focus at one project at a time, and water wasn't on my top priority. I'm still focusing on the meat center, the cacao center, expanding our coffee center as well, and tea business as well, which both are white labeling, storage, and for our members to utilize, save money and all that. But I had to bring it forward. I met with Yaqub Shirazi, the founder of Aqua Index, who has multiple patents. He's looking to monetize water, listing water futures, water options, but I think mainly he wants to tokenize water. His view is the reason we have a water crisis and wastage is because there's this perception that water is free, it comes from nature. But once there's a monetary value stuck to it, once there's a security stuck to it, the governments around the world will use that, and you'll have security around rivers, lakes, the same way you have the same security around diamond mines, gold mines, wheat farms, soybean. So that's his view on that. You have Elon Musk as well. I met him in Dubai for the first time in Kempinski, the father of Elon, and he's excited about monetizing water. He's full of ideas. He's an engineer by profession.
Yes.
And I saw him again in Cape Town, and funnily he goes, why would we allow water to rain on the mountain and then go all the way down into the sea? Before it hits the sea, collect it, treat it, sell it. That's your money. I visited WaterGen in Tel Aviv as well. I'd love to see their facilities also, or some of their products in Jumeirah Lakes Towers, where you get water out of air. We signed with Freshwater Norway, which is who have their own reserves, and they have a mandate of distributing 50 billion liters of water for the next 50 years. After that announcement, I got calls from friends in Africa, from Europe, saying we have also water that we want to export. So it's exciting times. But if you take a step back, you look at Pakistan and India, there are areas where you have monsoon and literally, people drowning, and at the same time, there's a water crisis.
Yes.
There must be a way of capitalizing it. I mean, especially India, you've reached all the way, I think, up to Mars, if I'm correct. I stopped following space news, but the opportunities are there. Dubai has been known to desalinate seawater. And you're hearing more and more innovations within the UAE, seeding clouds to get more rain, and all that. So when I used to hear these stories 20 years ago, I thought they're fake. I thought, it's just exaggeration. But this is the reality we live in.
Absolutely. Ahmed, there's just so much to talk to you, and you talked about everything with so much passion within. But I will try to comprise it all in one question. So starting from here, another 5 years, 10 years down the line, what is it that you have a vision of? What is it that you're planning?
Well, we've delivered the Uptown Tower, taller than Almas Tower, 340 meters, 82 stories in height, 75 floors. The offices are fully rented out with 3 times the waiting list. There's 1 floor for an electromobility center. So that community would be serving the battery, the electrical factories, the Tesla factories. If you want to fix your Tesla car, it takes 6 months. Why? Because they haven't factored in the spare parts, the services. So this is the gap that Sergio de la Vega wants to look at. The crypto center is expanding into 2,000 square meter office space in Uptown Tower. we're moving our headquarters there. The Diamond Exchange will stay in Al Mas Tower. Our floors will likely be taken up by one of the big names in the diamond industry. I'm not entitled to say at the time. The rest of the Uptown District will be expanded. And since I'm here, I'd like to also say for those who visit Dubai and love the Gold Souk, there's a building called Ithra in front of the old Gold Souk. That building is one of the few places where DMCC can license and register companies. And there's an Indian company there called the Gem and Promotion Export Council that took our license to operate there. So for those who want to be closer to the Gold Souk, that's the place. And if you're worried about being too far from DMCC, the metro connects the Gold Souk directly to DMCC.
You have it all worked out, haven't you?
I've been there for 22 years. Something's got to give.
Absolutely. Ahmed bin Sulayem, absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us here at CNBC-TV18 Conversations.
Pleasure. Thank you.